Okay, so let's say there's a guy standing next to me right now. He's got a gun to my head and he's saying, Aidan, you have to make an extra 2 grand per month within the next 30 days. This is exactly how I'd stop my brains from being splattered all over my office wall, okay? Now, this is not going to be something that you want to take lightly. This is something that I've actually done myself. I'm not just chatting crap, sharing some random method with you. I've done this myself to get myself out of a dead-end job that I hated and had no trajectory for my life, to the point where now I work for myself, I answer to myself, I make a good amount of money, I travel the world whenever I want to, and I could just do this all from my phone. I've done this myself, so you should listen. And if you watch this video through and full, you do exactly what I tell you, there's no reason why you can't achieve the same result. And I've helped several other people do this too, so watch carefully. So this video is actually just a quick brief overview of exactly how to do it. So if you want to learn exactly how to do it properly, in depth, and use the exact same systems and methods that I used to get here myself, there's going to be a link down below in the description to book a call with me. I'll run you through exactly how this works and exactly how I can help you get there without any guesswork, without any mistakes, and how to do it right the first time, okay? So that link in the description is going to be to book a call with me. I'll run you through how to do it. Full transparency, it will be a sales call. I will be trying to sell you something. So if you don't want to be sold to, don't book it. But if you are serious about getting out your dead-end job and working basically for yourself from your phone, traveling the world whenever you want to, there's going to be a link down below, book the call, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. The model that we're going to be doing, we're not going to be starting an agency. We're not going to be doing drop shipping. We're not going to be doing e-com or anything like that, okay? We're not going to be doing any of these models that you're probably thinking. We are going to be doing something called appointment setting. And yes, it's exactly how it sounds. We're going to be setting appointments. But we're going to be setting appointments specifically on the calendars of online business owners who want to make more money or who want to scale, which, by the way, is basically every single online business owner, including myself, okay? So what we're going to be doing is coming into their business and taking the appointment booking process off of their hands, okay? Now, don't worry, I promise you it's a lot easier than it sounds, and I'll break it down in this video for you later on. But listen, these guys, these online business owners, they need appointments on their calendars to keep making money, because these guys, because it's through the internet, they sell their service through the internet. So the way to sell their service, they need to speak to people who are interested in the service, specifically on something like a sales call, right? So the way they make money and the way they close clients is by speaking to the prospect on a sales call. So sales calls are essentially oxygen for their company. That's the way they make money. So don't you think, if they're so busy running this successful business, right, managing all of these clients and making sure the service works, and actually running the day-to-day operations of the company, they haven't really got enough time to be worrying about actually getting the appointments on their calendar, okay? They need it taken off of their hands because it's such a big task. So if they don't fix this problem quick, if they don't get someone to fix this and do it for them quickly, their business will die, because if they don't have a consistent flow of appointments coming through to their calendars, it means they can't close any more clients and they can't make any more money. So that's where we come in and take it completely off of their hands, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to do this later on in the video. Don't be intimidated. I promise it's exactly, honestly, it's so much more easier than you think. I did it as a complete beginner, and so can you. So let me run you through how easy this actually is to do. So the people that we're going to be speaking to, the people that we're going to be actually working with, they will have kind of a pretty high personal brand already, because we're going to be speaking to people who are already established and already have a business that works. So these guys will have something like 10 to 20 to 50 to 100,000 followers. Now, whatever niche they're in, whatever market they're in, they're not going to have 100,000 clients. They have 100,000 followers, but I bet you anything, their program, right, won't have 100,000 clients in there. So that means there is trapped money inside their follower base and their follower count. But again, they don't have enough time to go and get that out. So we're going to come in, we're going to enter their Instagram page, their LinkedIn page, anything like that. They're going to give us their details. We're going to log into it and we're going to speak to their followers on their behalf, okay? So these guys that are following, let's say we're working with the fitness coach who has 100,000 followers. All of their followers will be likely looking to get in better shape. So all we've got to do is speak to them, make sure they've got the problem of wanting to get in shape. Say, hey, you've got this problem, we can solve it. Would you be open to having a chat to see how we can help? Yes, okay, and then you get paid for the appointment and also being paid for the sale closing, which I'll get into later on in this video. So it really is as simple as just literally just DMing people all day, okay? Honestly, you don't really need to be a sales whiz or sales genius. It honestly is a case of speaking to people that you can diagnose have the problem of wanting to get into shape, and you say, look, you've got this problem. We've helped so many people fix this problem. Would you be open to having a chat, right? It really is that simple. You'll just be sitting there DMing people all day and taking it off of the business owner's hands. So if you already have a phone addiction, if you're already DMing people, if you're already messaging your friends, believe me, like it's the same thing. You're just going to be answering DMs all day, okay? It really is that simple. So what we're going to do is, before we actually, to actually get into it first, the first step we need to take is to decide a market that we want to get into. Now, what I mean by that is we're not just going to work with any online business owner, okay? We need to work with, there's a few variables we need to keep into account here. So you want to be working with business owners who are in the big three that I like to call, okay? These big three markets. And that's health, wealth, and relationships. And the reason why is because health, wealth, and relationships is basically what life evolves around, right? The biggest problems in the world for human beings on a day-to-day living basis, right? Our biggest problems that we face are typically in health, wealth, and relationships. So because we have the biggest problems in these three, that means they are the biggest, they have the highest pain points. And anything that has the highest pain points, and if you're solving something that has a big pain point, the more you can charge, okay? And if we're working with people that charge a high price point for a high pain point, we're going to be paid a lot as a result of working with them and helping them get more clients, okay? So we want to pick a market within the big three, so health, wealth, and relationships. Something like how to get over a breakup coaching, like a coaching program teaching people how to get over a breakup. A coaching program teaching people how to get into better shape, how to improve your mental health, or a coaching program teaching you how to scale your business or how to start an online business, right? We're going to be working in one of these three markets, okay? As long as it's in those markets, it doesn't really matter if it's, if it's fitness coaching, if it's gut health coaching, if it's mental health coaching. As long as it's in this area of these three markets, you're going to make a decent amount of money, okay? So we need to keep it within the big three. Make sure it's honestly one of those three, because honestly, if you go into any other market, I promise you're going to struggle to make as much money. Now, it would be ideal if you had an interest. Let's say you're interested in fitness and you go to the gym every day. It would make sense for you to go into a fitness coaching market, okay? Or I don't know, say for example, you're really good at, let's say you find psychology really interesting, okay? Maybe you could get into like sales coaching, okay? Because again, like a lot of sales is just psychology. Or let's say you're interested in, let's say you're really good at making friends or really good at networking. Maybe you'd enjoy getting into something like relationship coaching or friendship coaching or networking coaching. You get the point, something that you'd be interested in, or something at least that you'd be open to learning more about, because then obviously it's going to make your job so much easier when you actually speak to these prospects that are in these guys' accounts. So honestly, I wouldn't expect this to take you longer than 1 to 2 days max to actually decide what kind of market you want to get into. The main thing is that you're a little bit interested in it, like you're remotely interested in it, and also is within the big three, so health, wealth, and relationships. As long as you match those two criteria, you'll be fine. Now, once you've picked this and you actually want to get started, the main thing we're going to do here is we're going to go onto Instagram, we're going to go onto LinkedIn, we're going to go onto X, we're going to go onto Facebook, and what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 to 3 accounts per platform, of course, with your name on there. For example, maybe with LinkedIn, you may struggle to have the same name because you need your first name and your last name per account. You can just do your first name and then your middle name, and the same for every other platform. But you want to have 2 to 3 accounts per platform, because otherwise you're just going to get banned after. You'll see what I mean in a second. When you actually start reaching out to people, there's limits per account, so you need to be very careful and have backups just in case. Now, the main thing with these accounts is you want to create them to be extremely, you want to make them extremely optimized to look mature and professional and just human, okay? You want to have some posts of you with your friends or with you with your family and a clear profile picture of your face, and don't have a username, something like, like an Xbox gamer tag. Like have your first name and your last name, or your first name and your middle name. Like for example, I'd have Aidan Kalinsky, or I'd have Aidan, then my middle name, or then Aidan, my middle name, and then my last name. You get the point, okay? We want to make sure, it's really important with these accounts on every single platform, we optimize them to look extremely mature and professional. And the way I like to teach my clients about this is you want to kind of think of it as if like your parents and your teachers from school are looking at your account 24/7, okay? You don't really want to see that, like you don't want to be posting stuff about you doing drugs or drinking or anything like that. You don't want to be posting that, because it's just going to shoot yourself in the foot. For example, like if you were going to an interview and you knew they were going to look at your social media beforehand, you wouldn't put some incriminating stuff on there, okay? You wouldn't put some controversial posts. You wouldn't have some posts of you, doing drugs or drinking. You get the point. You'd make it look really professional. So you need to think of this in the same light. Every single account that you create, 2 to 3 per platform, you're going to make them all look extremely mature, professional, and just human on a human level, okay? Now, this honestly shouldn't take you more than a couple of hours tops, okay? Maybe a day, okay? Again, 2 to 3 accounts per platform. Maybe you're using 4 platforms and you're creating 2 accounts each. You have 8 accounts you're going to be able to use to actually reach out to people, which I'll tell you how to do in a second. So the main thing we're going to do here, this is going to be the fastest way to find opportunities. We're going to be going on to stuff like Facebook groups. We're going on to LinkedIn jobs. We're going to go on to Twitter or X, and we're just going to look for active job posts of people looking for appointment setters, which makes it so much easier for us because people are already looking for it. All we need to do is apply to these jobs. So when you go onto Facebook, there are tons and tons and tons of groups that you can go through and find appointment setting positions, okay? Now, I want to kind of caveat this and say, I want to preface this with a warning and say, not every single job post you find will be legit. There's a lot of spam on there, so you need to really understand what you're applying to, what you're looking at, and making sure you're not kind of doing yourself over, because a lot of these job posts aren't real. So you need to kind of know what you're looking for. And the way we do that is we want to make sure that when we see these posts, when we actually join these groups and we see these posts come up, we want to vet them, okay? And what I mean by that is we're going to be going onto the post, looking at who is posting the job post, and doing our background research on who the person actually is. So for example, if you see someone that's saying they've got a fitness coaching offer that they need an appointment setter for, then you want to go and type their name into Google, onto Instagram, onto LinkedIn, and try and find them elsewhere and see they actually have a credible business. You want to do that for every single job post you find, and that sounds interesting, because otherwise, if you can't find them elsewhere on the internet, it's a bit shady, okay? You want to make sure it's actually from someone credible, someone you can find online, someone that actually seems legit, okay? Honestly, I don't really need to give you so much criteria here. It's really just kind of due diligence. If you can't find them elsewhere online, if you can't see they've got an active, actual legit business, if you can't see their reviews and their testimonials for their company, then probably not a good idea to apply to the jobs, okay? You will really keep that in mind, because I've seen a lot of people get burnt by this. And just make sure they're kind of being clear with what they're looking for. Make sure it's a clear, actually legit business, and the person that's posting it you can find elsewhere online. Now, honestly, you're just going to look through every single post and just vet them to that criteria, making sure, again, it sounds legit and you can actually find the business elsewhere online. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply to 10 job posts per day per account, okay? So you want to be very cautious of limits here. I'd say honestly 10 job posts max per account. If you want to do more, again, luckily I've told you to create more accounts. Just go onto your other accounts and just do 10 on that one, and then 10 on that one, and then 10 on that one, and just rinse and repeat, okay? Don't do 30 applications on one account, because you're likely going to get banned, because again, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, like all of these platforms weren't designed for you to start like mass outreaching to job posts. So you want to have these backup accounts just in case you want to do more volume, which I do recommend if you want to land a position even faster. So the way we're actually going to apply to these job posts, of course, we're going to follow the instructions that the person who's posting the job post tells you to do. So for example, they may say something like, comment and DM me setter, right, to apply, or fill out this sheet. So of course, we're going to follow their guidelines. We're going to do exactly what they tell us to do, but we're going to add our own spin to it as well. And this honestly is what's going to separate you from everybody else you're competing with. And also, like, honestly, it does work so well, because I've done this myself and landed so many positions because of it. And I also helped so many people land positions because of it too. So what we're going to do, we're going to follow the instructions. We're going to comment and we're going to DM set it if it tells us to do that. We're going to fill out any sheets they want, but we're also going to very quickly take 5 minutes to do a background check on who they are. We're going to find them elsewhere on Google and try, I don't know, look through their website, look through their Instagram, try and find anything that we could say as a personalized compliment. So for example, we may have Sarah is looking for a setter. She's a fitness coach. You found her elsewhere on Google. You found her website. You see that she actually frequently runs marathons. You could say, for example, what we're going to do is create a personalized video, and we're going to introduce ourselves. And then we can also say in the video, after we've introduced ourselves, we can mention that we saw she runs marathons. And I don't know, you can say, hey, Sarah, introduce yourself, and then say, I saw you run marathons. Really interesting, because I've actually just signed up for the London Marathon next year. Maybe I'll see you there, okay? Something as small as that will make you stand out so much more than everybody else, because you're taking the time to actually do some research on her, and she'll like that. And also, that's an incredible trait to have as an appointment setter, and it will just make you stand out so much more. Believe me, every single job post you find, apply following their guidelines and their instructions, but also add that twist to it too. Do a personalized video for every single person you're reaching out to. And also find a personalized compliment you can say in these videos for every single one. And honestly, believe me, all it takes is just a bit of volume, and you're going to land so many more, responses and interviews just by doing that. Because here's the thing, you're going to be competing with quite a lot of appointment setters that are looking for jobs. But a lot of these guys, 90% of them won't go the extra mile of recording a personalized video, won't go the extra mile of finding a personalized compliment they can say. They'll just follow the instructions of commenting and DMing setter and leave it there and hoping for the best. Just by doing that, you honestly separate yourself from the entire competition. Believe me, it works extremely well. So we're going to do that for every single job post that we find. Now, not only that, so we're recording a personalized video, and we're also saying a personalized compliment in the video. Once we've done that, we're going to reach out to them on every single platform we can find. So this is where most people stop. They just comment and they DM the keyword setter, and they leave it there. What we're going to do, we're going to comment and DM setter. We're going to fill out any sheets they need us to fill out. We're going to record a personalized video mentioning a personalized compliment that we found based on doing our own research on them. And then of course, we're going to find them on LinkedIn. We're going to find them on Twitter. We're going to find them on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to find their email address, their phone number, their home address, like everywhere you can find, we're going to touch base on, and we're going to reach out saying, I've just seen your application, well, I've seen your job post for an appointment setter, wanted to reach out here so I didn't miss you, okay? Reach out on every single platform you can find. How many other people do you think are going that extra mile? Believe me, if you do that, you're gonna land so many more interviews, and trust me, it's gonna work extremely well for you. Now, because we're doing this on multiple accounts, we're going to be doing 10 applications per day per account. We want to keep a log on a Google Sheet of exactly who we're reaching out to and their profile link, so we don't cross-contaminate and message the same person twice. That is really important. So again, really easy. You may just have it on a notes tab. You may have a Google Sheet where you just have in the columns of the name, the profile link, and making sure that each account doesn't cross-contaminate. That is really important too, because you don't want to kind of message the same person twice on multiple different accounts, okay? Because it's fine. I've made that mistake a couple of times. It doesn't really matter too much, but if you want to kind of just make yourself look a little bit more clean, just make sure you've got a sheet making sure that you're not cross-contaminating. Now, not only is that just to kind of stop yourself from messaging the same person twice, but we also can use it to make sure we know who to reach out to, again, like who to follow up with, and you know, the kind of time frame we're going to be using. So for example, I recommend once you've reached out to that person on every platform, every single day for 7 days until you get a response, you need to follow up, okay? If they don't respond after 1 day, follow up, say, hey, did you see my message? If they don't respond again on the second day, follow up again, vice versa, like rinse and repeat. You want to keep going that way, and that's exactly what that sheet will help you do as well, rather than just stopping yourself from messaging twice on each account. Now, that's the easier way to find positions. The other way that we're going to do as well, we're going to couple both of them because it's going to be adding fuel to the fire. We're going to be messaging people that aren't actively looking for setters, okay? And with this one, we can be a bit more specific. Let's say you're helping people who are purely just gut health coaches for women in the USA. Okay, just for example, maybe it's that niche specific. We'll type that into Instagram or Google and we'll find exactly people who are in exactly that market. Because here's the thing with job posts, we can find people in our market, but it's a lot harder to find them specifically because we're looking for job posts. They're going to be in all markets, all round, for all niches. Okay, so with this one, we can be a bit more specific, but the only downside is these guys aren't actively hiring setters, so it's completely cold. You're going to have to sell yourself a lot more. So if we're working with gut health coaches who help women in the USA, what we're going to do is we're going to obviously find them on Instagram. We're going to type in their name on Google and just find, or we can even use ChatGPT and just say, look, find me 100 gut health coaches that help women in the USA, and it will just generate a list of that. And what we want to do again is with our accounts that we've created and optimized, we want to reach out with a personalized video, essentially with a script saying about how, you know, introducing yourself, a personalized compliment that I'd recommend to do this for this as well, and also mentioning how you can help them book more appointments and make more money. Now, I do have an exact script that I used to use that used to work extremely well. So if you want to learn exactly what that script was, you can start using it and getting the same results. I want you to message me on Instagram at AidanKBiz with the keyword script, and I'll send it over so you can start getting the same results basically immediately, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using that script. We're going to be reaching out to 10 people per day per account with a personalized video, introducing yourself with a personalized compliment and using that script that I send you on Instagram. And honestly, it's not going to take very long until you start landing interviews and, you know, actually landing positions too. So what we want to do, again, just like the job post method, we want to have a sheet where we're logging every single person we're reaching out to. So we can do two things. Make sure we're not cross-contaminating, okay, with the other accounts that we're using, and also making sure we actually know where and who to follow up with, okay? Because again, if you don't get a response after 1 day, you want to follow up. If you don't get another response after another day, you follow up, and, you know, and so on. So again, once you start doing that and you do enough volume per account, so 10 per day per account, if you have more accounts, the better. Like honestly, the more accounts you have and the more messages you send, the quicker it's going to be that you start landing interviews and landing positions. Now, when you actually get on these interviews, right, I don't want you to panic and think that you have to come with some kind of like unique system that you have to sell them on, okay? It's really not that hard, because these guys, because they're already established, they will already have had setters beforehand, okay? So they'll already have an SOP for you to follow. All you need to do is hop on the call with them. They'll ask you a bunch of questions about how you can help. And all they're trying to do here is see that you're competent, okay? So just make them aware about how they have 6 to 7 figures trapped inside their Instagram accounts because they're not nurturing leads enough to actually make sure they're optimizing their business, okay? They're not nurturing leads that have enough time. They're really leaving money on the table. What we're going to do is take it off their hands and make sure they're actually closing as much deals as they possibly can, okay? Just making them aware of essentially if they don't fix this problem quickly, they'll have no appointments on their calendar, which means they have no sales to close, which means they make no money as a business, which means their business slowly dies, okay? Honestly, it's really that simple. When you hop on a call, you're going to answer their questions, make them aware that they've got a big problem that you will take care of. And honestly, that is really how simple it can be. So the service, like I said, really is as simple as just logging into someone's Instagram account that has a big personal brand and just speaking to their followers on their behalf, finding people that have the problem of, let's say, they want to get in shape, but they don't know how. You've got the solution of basically helping them get in shape. You book them into an appointment, okay? It's really that simple, okay? I promise you it really is that simple. Now, ideally, you'll be paid per appointment, okay? So every single appointment you book, ideally they'll pay you for. They'll pay you a fixed rate. If you're a complete beginner, people might try and get away with paying you per sale first for you to prove yourself and prove actually you can get results. That's fine, because you can still make money doing that as long as the ticket price of the program they're selling is at least like $3,000 to $5,000. But ideally, you'll be paid $50 roughly per call on an account that has 50,000 followers. That would not be hard. With 2 to 3 hours of work per day maximum, 50 appointments per month is not unreasonable, okay? And I'm saying that because I've done it myself on previous positions. So 50 appointments per month at $50 each, that's $2,500 every single month. Now, don't you have 2 to 3 hours extra per day to just be DMing people, okay? That doesn't have to be all in one chunk. You can do it throughout the day. You can easily book 50 appointments per month at $50 each. That's $2.5 grand extra per month, okay? Which you can have on top of your 9 to 5. And then eventually you can get to a point where you quit your 9 to 5, do it full time and make even more money. But what's more likely is you'll be paid something like pay per sale, okay? Because they want to make sure you can prove yourself first. So let's say they've got a ticket price, their program is $5,000 and you're paid per sale. Let's say you're paid 10% of that $5,000 if they close. Okay, for every sale you get 10% of the $5,000. So it's $500 every sale you get. Now let's say you book 50 appointments per month, right? And they only close, they say have a terrible conversion rate. They only close 10% of the leads that you book in. So what's 10% of 50? 5, okay? And if you're getting $500 for every single sale, right? And you only close 5 people, so it's $500 times 5. So that's $2,500, right? Still an extra $2.5 grand a month. Now, once you actually have done this for like a month or two on this position and you've actually gotten good results and you've proven you're worthy, you can establish higher payment structures like $50 per call or $80 per call. But honestly, even on a crap payment structure, you can still get to the point where you're making an extra $2.5 grand a month. On a crap payment structure as a complete beginner, you can still get to the point where you're replacing basically your entire income from your 9 to 5 completely remote, okay? So that's exactly how to do it. That's exactly how to essentially replace your income totally online with appointment setting, okay? Even as a complete beginner, if you follow this video step by step all the way through and you just focus on volume more than anything, okay? Creating as many accounts as possible, messaging as many people as you can, and following the exact frameworks that I've given you in this video, there's no reason you can't start landing positions and interviews basically in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, okay? That is exactly how I do it. But that is a brief overview of how to do it. Okay, so if you want to learn exactly how to do it properly with no mistakes and follow the exact blueprint that I used to get to exactly where I am today, there's going to be a link down below in the description to book a call with me, and I'll run you through exactly how to do it properly without any mistakes and getting there ASAP even quicker than if you watch this video. So if you want to book a call down below, I'll run you through how to do it. Full transparency, like I said, it is a sales call. So if you don't want to be sold to, then don't book it. Or if you don't care and you're actually serious about getting out of your job ASAP, then book the call and I'll show you exactly how to do it.